Hello and welcome to another episode of Work 2.0, the podcast, your weekly briefing on AI, money, careers, and the future of work. Today it's just me, your host, today on this solo episode of the podcast. We were thrilled to hear John Bostock in our very first episode, and today it's just going to be me as we get up to hear from other exciting guests over the next few weeks. I want to spend this podcast episode, discussing Amazon CEO Andy Jassy's recent memo that he handed out to employees at the big tech giant just a few weeks ago. It's actually been, I think, it's about 2 weeks since he handed it out, and I've got the memo in front of me. And I actually wanted to take time to just go through it and kind of analyze it in detail and really see what we can pick from it because I found it quite interesting. I actually referenced it in one of my recent Forbes articles, and I'm reading this memo, and there's a lot in here that says so much. Obviously, at Work 2.0, the podcast, we are focused on the future of work. And we talk about AI, we talk about all those things. And a lot of people are worried about the future of work. What future is there to work? Will there be a future in work if AI takes over everything? And this memo from Andy Jassy, Amazon CEO, which he released on June 17th, according to Amazon's website, really shines a light on what's happening in organizations and the kind of things that you can expect to kind of brace yourself for over the next few months and over the next few years. So, Andy begins today. In virtually every corner of the company, we're using generative AI to make customers' lives better and easier. What started as deep conviction that every customer experience would be reinvented using AI and that altogether new experiences we only dreamed of would become possible is rapidly becoming reality. And we can see that ChatGPT, which kicked off the AI boom, was literally launched in November 2022. And it's barely been 3 years, but ChatGPT already crossed over a billion users. That's 1/8 of the planet, and we are in June 2025. So, and it's rapidly becoming integrated into workplaces, not just ChatGPT itself, but other generative AI models, other large language models. So I think ChatGPT just set off an AI revolution of sorts, where now it's just become the norm for workplaces and organizations to increasingly adopt it, especially the forward-thinking ones who want to be ahead of their competitors and maintain their competitive edge in their industries and explore new markets. They're really looking at seriously integrating this into their organizations. And just to add to that, there was a report that was released, which I frequently reference from AWS, Amazon Web Services. And you can check this out. It was in 2024. They said a new study reveals 5 ways AI will transform the workplace as we know it. Hiring AI skilled talent is a priority for 3/4 of employers. 3 in 4 employers, about 73% of employers say that hiring talent who have AI skills is a top priority. Most organizations, in fact, almost all organizations, 9 in 10 will be AI enabled. And obviously, since it's Amazon releasing this report, they are definitely ahead of the trend as a big tech company and as part of the massive, the group of FANG companies to get involved when it comes to not just using, but being ahead of the curve and actually developing AI-powered solutions by 2028. Going back to Jassy's memo, he says technologies like generative AI are rare. They come about once in a lifetime, and goodness me, is he right? I mean, it feels a bit like the Industrial Revolution that happens every few years or so, or should I say every 20, 30, 40, 50 years, or once in a century. It's a once in a lifetime experience when you see an industrial revolution of this magnitude. So he definitely is right about that. And whenever revolutions like this happen, obviously there are some casualties involved. There are hundreds of thousands of jobs lost, which completely become obsolete and extinct. Like there's no return, there's no going back. And we find that they're being replaced with different kinds of jobs. So, for those who think that AI will take away jobs altogether, no, it's not. It's just going to be different kinds of jobs that you probably haven't even heard of as yet, such as chief AI officer or AI consultant. Who even thought that a chief AI officer would be part of the C-suite? Who even thought that would be such a thing, right? So he says you can see it in what we're rolling out in Alexa Plus, our next generation Alexa personal assistant that's meaningfully smarter, more capable, and is the first personal assistant that can take significant actions for customers on top of providing intelligent answers to virtually any question. Then he goes into other, examples like the AI shopping assistant that's already being used by tens of millions of customers. Shopping features like Lens. I love Lens. If you've ever used Lens with Amazon.com, it's absolutely amazing. I've got it on the Amazon app where you can literally, if you're buying furniture or buying wall art, in matter of fact, the recent wall art that I bought for my bedroom was because I was able to use the AI feature called Lens, where you can not just take a picture of an item and get it pulled up in shopping, but also the other AI feature where it can literally, it's a technology where you can literally get the picture of the item from Amazon and get it put in your room, virtually speaking, where you can put it, let's say you're getting wall art, and you can put it against your wall using your phone, and you can see the scale and you can see how it would look. Absolutely incredible. So I love using Lens. So he goes into different details, such as in advertising, where they've used AI tools in Q1 alone. Talking 2025, over 50,000 advertisers use these capabilities. And he goes on and on about the different examples where they're using generative AI. Specifically for kind of outward-facing operations. But then he also mentions that they're using generative AI broadly across internal operations. He says, in our fulfillment network, we're using AI to improve inventory placement, demand forecasting, and the efficiency of our robots, all of which have improved cost to serve and delivery speed. We've rebuilt our customer service chatbot with generative AI, providing an even better experience than we had before. And we're assembling more intelligent and compelling product detail pages from leveraging generative AI. He says, I could go on, but you get the idea. So now this is the part that gets really, really intriguing. So really pay attention to this. He said, first, we have strong conviction that AI agents will change how we all work and live. Now, if you're new to the world of AI agents, don't worry, because so am I. No, I'm joking. No, I'm partly joking, but I'm partly not joking. I think AI is evolving at such a rapid pace that the concept of generative AI alone, we're still trying to wrap our minds around that and what that means and how that works. Now we're getting AI agents, which are super intelligent, and they can perform a whole variety of tasks for us, do things on our behalf, to a more complex degree than regular generative AI, actually doing a whole list of things for us. They're essentially like a second employee. And I was actually talking, interestingly enough, I was talking with one of IBM's executive, who's the vice president at IBM, and Justina Nixon St. Hill. And she was saying to me when we were meeting at the IBM office in London, at the headquarters in London, just a few months ago, I think it was 3 months ago, we were having a chat, and she was saying to me that AI agents are going to be the new future of AI, not just the future of AI, but the future of work, where now managers are going to have to not just manage teams of human beings, but would you believe it, manage teams of AI agents. They're going to have to learn how to adapt their skills, learn the technical skills necessary, and learn how to adapt their skills to managing hybrid teams. When I say hybrid, not hybrid in the sense of some working from home, some working from the office, but hybrid as in a combination of technical and human talent. That is going to be one to look for, and that is going to be seriously interesting. And we're already seeing some companies begin to use AI agents. But seeing how AI agents and human beings work together, like you're going to have a robot employee working with you, that sounds like something that could freak you out, but it does sound quite interesting. Jassy explains, think of agents as software systems that use AI to perform tasks on behalf of users or other systems. He says they'll do whatever you want in natural language. They'll scour the web, summarize results, engage in deep research, write code, highlight interesting insights, automate a lot of tasks that consume our time. There will be billions of these agents across every company and in every imaginable field. There will also be agents, now I wanted this, that routinely do things for you outside of work, from shopping to travel to daily chores and tasks. If I can have an AI agent that takes over my chores, I will be so happy. Absolutely happy. Yes, please. Please mop the floor. Please wash the dishes. Please do all of that. Thank you very much. I don't have the time. And many of these agents have yet to be built. But, he says, make no mistake, they're coming and coming fast. Second, and what makes this agentic future so compelling for Amazon, is that these agents are going to change the scope and speed at which we can innovate for customers. This is where it gets really thrilling, that innovation is going to really just take off even more when we have AI agents. Agents will allow us to start almost everything from a more advanced starting point. We'll be able to focus less on rote work, the boring stuff, the admin stuff, and more on thinking strategically about how to improve customer experiences and invent new ones. Inadvertently, what Jassy is saying here is that the skill set of the future that you're going to need is going beyond just learning AI skills or just learning basic everyday skills, even at the entry level. Because these AI agents are soon going to be taking over entry level jobs, and then what? Even at the entry level, you're going to have to be more advanced than the previous generation was when they started at the entry level with their careers. The most important skill set of the future is going to be strategic thinking skills and critical thinking. Notice he says thinking strategically about how to improve customer experiences and invent new ones. These are the skill sets. You're going to be starting from an advanced starting point, an advanced launchpad. We're not going to be starting at the basic level. AI will already be taking care of the basic level for us. So when you think you've learned everything because you graduated from university, wait a minute, honey, there's a whole lot more you've got to learn. You've now got to develop your critical and strategic thinking skills. And you've got to have it at an advanced level because AI can already perform the basic level for you. You're going to have to think outside the box, get creative, brainstorm, imagine beyond the scope of AI, and leverage that capability in combination with artificial intelligence to produce the results you want. He says if we build and leverage the right agents, it's going to rapidly accelerate our ability to make customers' lives easier and better every day. And it's going to make our jobs even more exciting and fun than they are today. Okay, and then he mentions that today we have over 1,000 generative AI services, over 1,000 people, that's a lot, and applications in progress or built. But at our scale, at the scale of Amazon, one of the largest companies in the world, that's a small fraction of what we will ultimately build. We're going to lean in further in the coming months, he says. We're going to make it much easier to build agents and then build or partner on several new agents across all our business units and G&A areas. He says, as we roll out more generative AI and agents, it should change the way our work is done. Now, this is the part that began to make headlines, people, so wait for it. We will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today and more people doing other types of jobs. So everyone's going on about basically over the next few months and years, and he did mention this, okay, we're not lying, over the next few months and years, he is actually he's planning to cut down when it comes to the number of jobs that are going to be available at Amazon. So the jobs that you're seeing today, you may not see in the next few years, and that's because AI is taking over, okay? However, that being said, there will be more people doing other types of jobs. So while the workforce is being cut down, he says it will reduce our total corporate workforce over the next few years. He does say that, and he can't say exactly for sure when, but he says you can expect that over the next few years. That being said, there will be more people doing other types of jobs, and the nature of work will change. There'll be a whole shift of the workforce and a shift of the economy. And Amazon is representing one of the largest workforces on this planet. What they do is kind of like a model of what will be happening, what will be mirrored across organizations worldwide. Now, note his advice following these changes. Note what Jassy encourages you to do. As we go through this transformation together, he says, be curious about AI, educate yourself, attend workshops and training, use and experiment with AI whenever you can, participate in your team's brainstorms to figure out how to invent for our customers more quickly and expansively, and how to get more done with scrappier teams. It's all about curiosity, personal development, growth mindset, continuous education, and experimentation. Curiosity, growth mindset, experiment, strategic thinking. These are the skills of the future. These are the skills that we're going to need as the whole world, the global workforce, is undergoing this shift where we're having generative AI, we're now having AI agents. And AI, believe me, it will keep advancing and developing. As we see new technology roll out, what you need to sustain yourself for the future of Work 2.0, is to maintain a curious mindset, an attitude of curiosity. We're not shunning change, like we mentioned in the last episode with John Bostock. We're not shunning change, but at the same time, we're mindful of change and we embrace change. And we're curious, we ask questions, we educate ourselves, we maintain that growth mindset, taking training, constantly learning more things every day, experimenting wherever you can, hands on applied AI training to your specific role, right? The best training you can get is by hands on training, experimenting, finding different use cases within your role, okay, and thinking outside the box. These are the ways that you are able to achieve so much and progress your career, even though the workforce is drastically shifting. So that's my advice to you today, and that's Jassy's advice. He says those who embrace this change, becoming conversant in AI, will be well positioned to have high impact and help us reinvent the company. And dare I say, to have high impact in your life, in your career, in your workplace, and reinvent your entire career. You can actually create a business out of this. You can rebuild your career, build a side hustle, launch a freelance business, whatever, through this. So, my advice to you, following this memo from Jassy, is to think about how this relates to your workforce, to your workplace, to the company you work in, how this relates to your life, your career. You may not work at Amazon, you don't need to, but I'm telling you, this memo from Jassy has so much implications for your life, for your job, for your future. It's best to be prepared and to take this advice now than to be stuck when it's too late and your job title is absolutely annihilated and you're obsolete. All right, well, that's it for today. Until next time, make sure that you tune in wherever you can, rate and like this podcast, share it, definitely comment and share it around with your co-workers, with your friends, and I will see you in the next episode.